everyone, this is the Nameless One, and today we are going to be continuing, finally, Writer's Notes. I have, of course, my fellow guest, or fellow co-host. I can just do... We're
Man,
writers, not speakers.
I've been demoted already. That's crazy.
I have my fellow co-host here. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, I'm Fiction. I'm the guest because I've been demoted. No, I'm the co-host.
You keep up like that, I might actually demote you.
No!
But, I'm not punching my mic. Before we get started, I would like to remind everybody, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, follow on Twitch, all that good stuff. There is actually a link to my Twitch in the description now, and it will be there starting with any video uploaded after this one. Beyond that, if you want to show further support, there's links for that in the description as well, and more information about it at the end. Without further ado, a couple of quick announcements for other YouTube related. So this Saturday, we will not have a Lost Memories because I will be doing grocery shopping, and then next Saturday there will be no Saturday or Sunday games because I am going to be doing an event locally. So, for those of you that look forward to that. Otherwise, next week should be about the same as the usual schedule. I will be posting an actual schedule for it, hopefully before the end of the weekend, as long as I don't get distracted and or too tired to care. But let's go ahead and jump into it. So, what's a genre?
I don't know.
So,
What is a genre?
So what most people understand a genre to be is like, if you tell them you're a writer, they're going to ask you what you write, and normally you tell them, oh, I write fantasy, or sci-fi, or non-fiction, or fiction. But
yeah,
I am going to say we are going to be focusing primarily on fictional writing, because non-fiction as a genre has slightly different rules, and both of us are more on the creative writing side.
Yes.
But before we get started, before I get any smartasses in the comments, I'm going to point out that by technicality, genre is just a list of conventions and rules put together for people who are not especially skilled writers. It is not uncommon to see blending of genres and subversion of genres from skilled writers, and attempts to do so from unskilled writers that, we'll say that they go away. We don't know which way, but they go there.
They have intentions.
But all genres can be boiled down to essentially one of two choices. And before I say these I am using the traditional Greek understanding of these words, which I will explain here in a minute, not the modern understanding. But all genres can be boiled down eventually to either comedy or tragedy. And I'm sure that fiction could probably back me up on that one.
Yeah. Wow, my brain just blanked. I heard comedy like Greek comedy, or comedy as in modern comedy?
Greek. We're where you're using the Greek understanding of those words, which I will explain right now. So, for those of you that don't know, both of those words are from ancient Greece. And comedy did not mean haha funny. It meant a story that ended on a higher note than it began. Along with tragedy was a story with a tragic hero that it all just goes downhill. Just all downhill. Yes, that it may end in a technically positive note, but the tragic hero never gets a good ending.
Yes.
Some very good examples of classic comedy and tragedy. Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy. Mm-hmm. And then trying to think of a good example. I'd say a lot of Mark Twain's works are technically comedies. Pick a Huckleberry Finn, for example. It's been a very long time since I have read his works, so I can't particularly remember if his ends with an appropriate ending for comedy. But those will be our examples. Oh, excuse me. Don't mind the acid reflux. But comedy and tragedy are two of they're essentially the building blocks that all other genres are built off of. For example, if you want to write a drama or a thriller or horror story or grimdark story, all of those are well-known genres, but they are built off the building block of tragedy on 9 times out of 10. Some cases it might not be that way. Some you may have ones that end well for the protagonist where they're doing better than they started the story with. But most cases, any of those genres are well known for being tragedies. Now, things like romances are very well known for being comedies. You know, you get the girl or the guy, Earl gets the guy, whichever perspective it's from. And when it comes to that kind of stuff, genres are very good for especially new writers to be able to go, okay, what do I want to write? What is my story going to be? What am I going to write for?
Yes.
And of course, one of the first things you want to ask yourself is, do you want to write a tragedy or a comedy?
Mm.
And once you decide that, you then decide the kinds of themes and things that, the other, I guess technically, if we're, with the definition we're using it, they'd be subgenres. Do you want, a horror comedy or horror tragedy? Or do you want a romance? Or do you want a fantasy adventure story?
Do you want a rom-com on Hallmark?
Oh, God. Please don't do that. They're so cheesy. But
it's top tier. Totally.
Don't give them ideas that aren't correct. They are not top tier. They are just comfortable for most.
Don't worry about my co-hosts. Go ahead, become a Hallmark writer. Lord knows they need it.
Jesus, no. No Hallmark writers. But yeah, with your choice of genre also comes a list of particular rules. For example, horror, you need to follow certain types of rules for the subgenre of horror that you pick. Say you want to do a creature feature type horror. One of the best rules to follow is don't give away your monster too quickly. Because if you do that, then your audience loses a lot of the suspense, and it's not the you're gonna get booed out of the your little writer's nook because nobody wants to read a horror book that isn't horrifying. And a
lot of suspense comes from the fear of the unknown and your brain what's it called? Like filling in parts that the author doesn't write.
Yeah, and just like with mystery novels, you don't give away the big twist at the end before it gets to the end. You also want to make sure that it's a twist that you do foreshadow and all that good stuff. But these things, often called tropes, sometimes referred to as rules of the genre, are there to like give a expectation of what the reader wants to be able to see whenever they actually read what you have to write. Now, I can't talk about tropes and expectations without also pointing out that some readers don't really know what they want, and or they expect you to do things that make no sense. As well as the fact that some writers think that they get to subvert everything because they write. Because about that much logic was put into this decision making. But yeah, to those that are getting heckled and harassed by readers, just don't take that too seriously. Like, if you get a lot of the same comment, maybe look over what you've written and see if they have a point. But if it's just one guy telling you that he doesn't like this trope in the particular genre you picked to write, screw it. That's your writing, not his. If he wants you not to do that, then he can go read somebody else's. But as for the subversion of genres, you need to be careful with that one. One, you need to have a very strong understanding of that genre. Because in order to subvert something, you need to know what that something is. So if you don't know and understand what the something is that you're subverting, how are you supposed to subvert it? Because I don't think that most people, like, for example, cosmic horror. Cosmic horror is known for its portrayal of the fear of the unknown. And if you don't have an unknown because you're trying to subvert that because you didn't understand like what its purpose was, then you're not really going to write a cosmic horror piece. It's just going to be kind of weird at best.
Yeah, subversion is one of those skills that I feel like you can pull off once you have, or at least, you could try to attempt once you have enough experience within a genre. It's something that I haven't really tackled, mostly because I like to jump around genres. But you really need to have like a firm understanding of the basics of the genre, what makes it good, what makes it bad. Because a very badly done subversion kind of hurts a lot more than just a poorly written story.
So there's also I just lost my entire train of thought there. I had it and then it was gone. Let's try that again.
I love that feeling.
So with subversion, especially genre subversion, you run a huge risk that you might also ostracize your readers. An example
Oh,
of
yeah.
that is if you try to put too much of a good thing into a grimdark story, especially if you, one, sell yourself as a grimdark story, and two, have anything to do with the Warhammer 40k community, because good lord, those people do not like being happy.
Yes.
So, what do I mean by that? So, if you are like trying to sell your writing on the subversion of that thing, you want to also make sure that that's something that your audience will enjoy. If you're just writing it for you, so be it. But if you're writing for an audience, you want to make sure that your audience is also going to be on board with your subversion. Because if you have too much of there's an opposite for grimdark. What is it called? Something light, I think, or bright. Noble bright, I think, is what
I'm not.
I
don't believe I've ever heard the term. I think you're pulling something new out for me.
No, it's something that I've heard a couple times floated around the Warhammer 40k community. But essentially,
I meant new for me because I haven't heard the term. But
Noble Bright is the idea that rather than the grimdark existence of the Warhammer 40k universe, it's basically D&D, or most people's perception of D&D, I should say. Because if you actually read some of the D&D stuff, man, that's a fucked up universe. But
oh yeah, favoring goes well.
If you try to write, say, a Fallout Equestria, since a large majority of the people that will be watching this are bronies, Fallout Equestria, you try to write a Noble Bright version of Fallout Equestria, you gonna get some angry fans knocking on your door. And I say knocking very sarcastically, because they will come full battering ram. You have ruined their favorite franchise, is the cry that you will most likely end up with.
It's their favorite war cry. They use it all the time.
But while that kind of storytelling has its place, you also want to be careful where your audience is coming from before you go posting things. And don't get into standoffs in your comment sections because your audience didn't like what you wrote. It is not recommended.
Oh yeah. Yeah, waging a war in your comments will just take away your time from writing.
Yep, and Lord knows that most of us don't have enough time for that as is.
It's so true.
But yeah. There is a lot to be said for well done subversions, but entire genre shifts can be kind of rough for both the writer and the reader. Unless, of course, you set the expectation in some way beforehand. Which does, in some ways, kind of just undo the idea of the subversion. But fiction.
Yes.
Do you have anything that you would like to particularly comment on? I have a feeling this is going to be a shorter episode.
I think when going back to choosing your first kind of genre or choosing a genre to write in, for newer writers, I would say it's good to, like you said, look at the tropes, like the general tropes, and just write something like basic. Uh, you know, your first thing, your first foray into a genre, even if you are a little bit more experienced, doesn't have to be your magnum opus. It's good to just write sometimes, just to explore. And checking out genres is a good way to, like, different genres than what you're used to or what you normally read if you're, coming into being a writer. I think that's a great way to kind of stretch your wings.
I'd say I've been writing for the past 25 years at this point, and I still haven't written anything I would call my magnum opus.
Yeah. Same.
To kind of add on to what Fiction just said, though, on top of that, don't assume that you have to stick with one genre. If you decide you don't want to write something of a certain genre, just try another one. That's one of the lovely things about being people with choice. We get to freely just decide what we write about and what genre and what person, all of that fun stuff.
Absolutely. I think for established but still like newer writers per se who say write a couple things in one genre, it can be a little bit daunting to then try to tackle something else because you have built yourself in one neat little crook in a single genre. But it's absolutely okay to strike out and try another genre, try another. Yeah. If you're worried about your fans being like, man, what is this? Just don't. Like, if you are trying something out because you want to explore, you want to expand your horizons, you want to test your skill, anything like that, go for it.
Yeah. It's okay to have a comfort genre. Example is I'm a grimdark writer. I don't know what Fiction calls his own
drama,
just general drama.
Drama / like sad or like sadder stuff. Yeah.
So he's the tragic hero. I'm the one that gets run over by everything.
Yeah.
So it's okay to have a particular genre that you're known for or that you're more comfortable with, but like every so often you may sidestep into another genre or just completely switch genres altogether to have a little fun with it. Kind of an example is that there was a point that I wrote somebody a short story that was basically just a happy little Christmas story. Very short.
Oh yeah, yeah, I like doing that too. That was a good. That was for the hub one, right?
Yeah, I actually did two of them because I did one for the.
That was a good one. Oh yeah, right.
It's when you regen in the wrong order. Yes, total. That is exactly what we are talking about. But yeah, I don't know if there's much else to say for this episode, to be entirely honest. You got anything else, Fiction?
Unless we want to kind of dapple back and forth on like light thoughts of like different genres.
Well, considering that I kind of want to go into like, I'm thinking the next episode. The next episode is probably going to be like we're going to pick like 3 adjacent genres and go go in like deep dive talking about the tropes and things that are like parts of that, which we'll start off with the ones that you and I are the most comfortable with together,
Mm.
and then do another episode of other stuff related to this kind of, and then another episode of like deep diving genres and things like that. What do you think?
I can't wait till we get to romance. That's going to be so funny.
I have my
Coming from
opinions.
us, that's going to be really funny.
I have my opinions, and I feel like
I do too.
I feel like I am not necessarily well qualified for that subject, but we're gonna do it anyways.
I love like romance and stuff. I don't read enough, but I read too much, if that makes sense at the same time. So it'll be fun, but I'm not particularly in tune with like tropes and stuff for it. I just like reading it.
But yeah, if that's, I'm not really thinking of much else to say, and since this isn't really that kind of podcast, we're not just gonna waste everybody's time. So, unless fiction's got anything else,
I got an idea good to end it on. So talking about what is genre, let's talk about why we like our favorite one just real quick. Not a deep dive needed, but just why we like it and why we don't like it. Real fast.
I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay. So mine being drama, dealing a lot with like emotional conflict and stuff like that. I love it because exactly that. You get to get just like really, really obsessed with it and like really emotionally invested, and it kind of destroys you on the inside. One thing that I hate about it is that it's kind of hard to write without having like some parts come off as like, I don't know if they would say that, or I don't know, that reads kind of weird. And B, it destroys you. Same reason why I love it, same reason why I don't like it, is that I have to be in a certain mood. Because otherwise I just read that, I'm like, man, this just made my day worse.
So, for me, my favorite genre, surprise, grimdark. I'm gonna start with why the reason I like, the thing that I like about it the least, and it's because like it is probably one of the most poorly understood genres out there. Because everybody hears grimdark and they think, oh, blood and gore. No, it's not torture porn. Is it misunderstood and miswritten that way sometimes? Yes. But distilled down to what it actually is a good deal of realism, I should say. At least from my experience of life. I've been on this spinning rock for about 30 years, and there's always something around the corner. You know, the meme of you're dealing with life, and then like it's like a teeny tiny little thing, and you look like you're bullying it, and then there's the monsters lined up behind you with spiked clubs. Yeah.
Yes.
That is an experience that I have kind of like felt like I've gone throughout my life. So it makes grimdark feel relatable, because there is nothing more unrelatable than happily ever after, because there is always an asterisk in real life.
Unless you're rich, but we won't get into that conversation.
I mean, if you look at like how the kind of lives those people actually lead, they have the asterisk. It's just we don't see it because our problems would be fixed.
That is true.
Like our current problems would be fixed quite often with money. Not
That's
all
true.
of them, but
Yeah.
enough of them for us to be like they're living in ivory castles, having their happily ever afters.
Yeah.
But life reads like a grimdark story is supposed to be written. Except with grimdark, it is far more exaggerated in many cases, but it also leads to more human interactions between characters.
Oh yeah.
What I mean by that, you'll have to tune in for the next episode, because we'll be doing grimdark, drama, and horror, and deep diving into those genres. That will be next month. But yes, I think that will be everything. So I'm going to remind everybody.
Realism being one of the things you liked about that, and man, when we get to talking about fantasy, I have a bone to pick about that word.
We'll get there. We'll get there. But until then, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, follow on Twitch, all that good stuff. There's a link in the description for all of that, as well as for my Patreon. A big thank you to my priest tier Patreon, Cameo Shadowness. Of course, I could not continue doing this without all the help from my Twitch subs, YouTube memberships, and Patreons. I just real moment here, like really, you guys do not understand how much it helps even just watching these videos and like liking, commenting, all of that good stuff.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Total shows up to damn near all of my streams. One of the he's a huge supporter. Doesn't have to pay me anything. His being there is support. So whatever you can do, I appreciate all of it. For those of you that are looking forward to the next Heart of Darkness, that should be Sunday, barring any acts of God. And apparently the comedic timing of my phone going off. But other than that, we will be doing this podcast at the end of, I think we should be good for the end of next month, which should be actually it should be the 25th. I don't know. We'll play it by ear. We'll once I get the schedule set up, we'll have a better idea. But until then, everybody, don't keep on writing and don't forget to drink water.
Hydrate or dehydrate.